All right, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about what a CSA is and why you need one. A CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture, and I would be remiss if I didn't give you the history. Okay, so Dr. Booker T. Whatley coined the term clientele membership club back in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. Before the term CSA was, put out there. Let me just say that. A clientele member, he basically wanted you to have people who already wanted to buy from you identified. And he said you need to form a club in order for that to happen. And so that's where clientele membership club came from. Now, CSA was something that was coined later on, but I always tell people the history so they know what it is. Basically, it's people who have raised their hand and said, hey, look, I want to buy from you. Whatever it is that you've got going on, I want to buy from you. It got started basically because people wanted to know where their food came from. This was way before the situations we've got going on now with all these recalls and all that. It was that way then with the chemicals, right? When, the institutional fertilizers and all that started to happen, a lot of people were very concerned about what was going into their food and were looking for local farmers that didn't do all those heavy chemical inputs. So that's kind of how the CSA Clientele Membership Club got started. And so that's what it is. But why you need one is that from a pure marketing perspective, the customers you know are better than the customers you don't. If you have an idea of who's going to be buying from you and you can tailor and set up your farm specifically to them, and that's the other thing Dr. Whatley says to do. He says, only grow or raise the things that they want. That's the whole point of having the club. It's a group of individuals that are going to want to purchase things off of your farm, so you need to cater to them. Whatever it is that they're buying is what you want to focus on growing. And it's basically something you need in order to make sure you have a consistent stream of revenue. And in order to do that, you've got to market. So you've got to be good at marketing. You've got to be good at getting your farm out there. And nowadays, obviously, we have lots of tools to use for that. Primarily, social media is going to be your best bet. I talk to a lot of people about marketing and they're like, I don't know where to begin. Start by making sure you're putting your journey online. When I started Out the Mud Farm, I recorded everything and put it on my Facebook. When I say everything, when the UPS guy dropped off some bags from Uline, I got that video footage of him pulling out the driveway. I got video footage when I would go get a book. When I was doing mushrooms, I got Paul Stamets' book about growing mushrooms. I did a picture or a whole post about that particular book. It doesn't matter how minimal you think it is. Oh, people don't want to see this, people don't want to see that. When you go to Out the Mud Farms page on Facebook and you scroll all the way to the beginning back in 2018, 2019, I was posting every single step of the way. The first time I grew mushrooms on the counter, I was posting that. And why you do that is so that people can get to know, like, and trust you, because that's all that marketing is. Marketing is not selling. It's about you getting people to know, like, and trust you enough so that when you do have something that you're going to be selling, that they're ready to buy. Okay, if you don't market, you won't get a CSA database going. And let's talk about that. Your database in any business is your life. Okay, if you don't have a database, you don't have a business. That's just the way it goes. Okay, and the typical way that we've been doing it, all of us creator type, entrepreneur types, is that we have been putting things out on social media, be it a video or a static post, which means just like a picture or whatever. And the caption will read something like, click the link in my bio or check the box below, or you know how it goes. You guys have signed up for stuff. And that's where the lead magnet comes into play. And a lead magnet is something that attracts someone who will give you their name and their email. And that's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to build your database by creating stuff of value. The old way of doing just 10 steps checklist and download my this, that's kind of getting old. People want more substance in their lead magnets these days. So for instance, if you have, if you bake sourdough bread and you're going to be selling that on your farm and you want to attract people into your database that are going to want to buy sourdough bread, well, the best thing for you to do is to teach them how to do it at home. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do it, right? But if you say, hey, look, I've got a free training on how to bake sourdough bread. I'm walking you through it in my kitchen step by step. Click the link below. Then that's now a name and an email of somebody who is interested in sourdough bread. And you're probably thinking, well, why would I teach them how to do the thing that I want? Don't gatekeep. Don't do that. That's not what it's about. What it's about is really helping people so that you can find out who's interested in what. And reality is, most people are going to try to DIY stuff, but then they're going to realize they don't want to do it, right? So if you've got eggs and you're raising chickens, do a free training on how to raise chickens. Why? Because you know that person's probably interested in fresh eggs. See what I'm saying? So if whatever it is you're doing, I don't care if you're making soap, if you're growing medicinal herbs, creating your own apothecary at home, whatever it is that you're doing, create a free training around it and start talking about it on your socials. And now let's talk about socials. The sites that I would focus on right now when it comes to your marketing, when it comes to building your CSA, is YouTube. TikTok is cool, but I got like 80-something thousand followers on TikTok, and it's not as engaging as the YouTube, right? And so what I would recommend that you do is focus just on YouTube, because if you're not good at the long form content and you want to do the short form content, that's fine too, because people are on YouTube when they want to learn something, when they want to learn how to do something, or they want to learn how to fix a problem that they're having and they get serious. Guess what we all do? We go to YouTube. So I highly recommend that. So the way that you want to do it is come up with some kind of free training, put your phone in your kitchen, record yourself doing something. And then the way that you're going to deliver that free training is going to be via your link in bio. And typically that's going to be a stand.store or something to that effect, right? There's a bunch of options out there for you. Figure out which one works best for you. And even Google, I mean, if you just got a Gmail email account, you can use a Google. It's horrible because it's like 2 miles long, their URLs. But if you don't want to do a standout store, you don't want to pay for something monthly, you actually could use Google, right, in order to deliver your free video. So those are the reasons. That's what the CSA is, the reason why you need one, and the implementation strategy on how to get people to get into your database. Because the rule of thumb is this, hold on to this. The rule of thumb is 1 out of every 5 things is going to happen. And what does that mean? That means that 1 out of every 5 people is going to join your database. So the more that you post and the more that you ask at the end of your videos or at the end of your posts, hey, click the link below, click the link below, click the link below, the more people will join. So if you've got a database of 100 people, likelihood is only 20 of them are going to join your CSA. So you can't just do it a little bit. You have to be consistent with it. You have to continue to post things that you have going on your farm. If you're good at training livestock guardian dogs, you might want to put a free training together about that. You have to make the training good enough that it's worth something, okay? Yes, your free training needs to be valuable. No, you're not going to sell it. You're going to give it away, because that customer acquisition cost is what you're using that video for, because it costs money to attract customers. And trust me, yeah, you could sell it for $27 or $97, but it's way more valuable if you give it away and get those customers into your database so that you can turn around and have them in your CSA. Okay, so that's why you want a CSA. That's why you need one. And that's how you go about getting one started. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.